Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are doing all right. So I'm gonna give it the first 5 minutes of this stream to let people know that we're actually live. Hopefully more people see the notification on their phones and join in for this live session. Obviously we have important news coming up later today. CPI, we're most likely going to see some movement around the instruments, especially the majors. So we're going to check out what kind of setups we have prior to the news. Uh, Let me just get rid of some of that light. It's literally shining in the face. Um, and as per usual, we're going to check out the majors. We're going to have a look at euro dollar, pound dollar. We're going to check out gold as well. So I'm going to switch over to my chart right now. And if I have to be honest, doing the video for the premium Telegram channel earlier today, about a couple of hours ago, it looks like we are at a very important levels here on not just on one of those instruments, but multiple instruments which are currently giving us some really, really good setups, and that including euro dollar, pound dollar, and even gold as well. So also, if you are trading crypto, say for example Bitcoin and Ethereum, uh, well, you can check out the charts on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, and potentially find a good trading opportunity there. So if you just give me a second, I'm gonna send um, the link for the live session to some of the members. So I'm just gonna take a minute to do that. I'm gonna share the link in the free Telegram channel. And by the way, if you haven't joined yet, make sure to do so. There is a link below this video um, that is gonna take you straight to our free Telegram channel. We've got over 3,000 members, and every time I do one of those live sessions or I've got a setup to share with you, it always goes in there first. So make sure to join the free Telegram channel. In the meantime, you guys can let me know if you currently have any setups or if you are in any trades. For those of you who are members of the premium Telegram channel, Euro Pound is another pair which we talked about for a bearish continuation even before the breakout. So if you have a look at the 1 hour time frame on Euro Pound, you will see that it's been bearish for some time now. And anyone who managed to hold that trade, because we did say that it's probably going to take more time than usual for that setup to develop. So anyone who managed to show patience and hold that trade, that's well done. And uh, I wasn't really surprised to see how long it takes for Euro Pound to kind of move by a few pips, but that's what usually happens with this type of pair. And we're now approaching, previous lows. So it's probably best to at least collect part of the profit, right? Don't get greedy, and if you have some profit made, then just move your stops to break even. take out part of your position and let it run if you want to, or just close your full position for a peace of mind. Okay, I think we're done. So now we can go through some of those pairs. And as usual, I'm going to start off with the higher time frames first because obviously it's very important to know what is the bigger picture, right? And this is something that I repeat every single time on those sessions, but it is very important. I know there are a lot of traders trading the lower time frames, and all they focus on is the 5 minute time frame. They don't even have a look at the 4 hour chart or the daily candle or the weekly candle at the end of every week and so on. And this is very important. You have to do that, right? Because for example, here on euro dollar, as you can see, just mute my phone. As you can see, we had this first bearish weekly candle all the way up here as soon as we broke above this weekly high, right? So that was a strong signal that we're potentially going to see uh, a, a retracement in the market, and this is exactly what happened for the next couple of weeks. So this week, I am actually expecting that we may see that reversal, right? Now, nothing is yet confirmed, but since we are looking for setups and we're looking at what makes the most sense, I'm definitely bullish on euro dollar. We are in a bullish trend. So right now we see that we have a retracement as well. So that retracement just came to that 61.8 level right here. And we also have high impact news coming up. We're talking about CPI, inflation data, right? Um, these new, I mean, interest rates and inflation data are probably the biggest news right now. So of course, when we're talking about scheduled events that we can actually see and we can prepare for in the economic calendar. I'm not talking about Trump's, you know, tweets and stuff like that, right? But anyways, um, what I'm looking for is for price to eventually reverse around current price levels with the help of the news today. Okay, so if you drop down to a lower time frame and you know that you are expecting a bullish move, well then you can kind of point out and mark out the levels where you expect for price to kind of reverse. Now the thing is, during the news we may see an additional drop right here, just because a lot of people are most likely going to place, if price is still trading around the same levels that it is trading now, it is very likely that people will place their stop loss orders right here below this structure. So that means we can see price taking out all those stops and then going back to the upside. Now this is on only the 15-minute time frame, and there is still some time for the news. Um, so we're gonna give it a bit more time, but let's see how it goes. I mean, we could also see that reversal happening from current price levels, and I mean, we may not even see any lower values, lower than those most recent lows, excuse me. So this is what I'm, eventually looking for. But the thing is, if I look at a 15, even a 5 minute time frame, I don't really have a setup currently. Okay, I cannot go long. Obviously, we've got those highs right here, and we've also got those lows. So we're pretty much trading within this range right here. There's no point for me to rush into any trades. I haven't yet seen a confirmation that we're actually going to go to the upside. So that's why I don't want to buy. And at the same time, I don't want to sell because overall, I have a bullish bias. Um, so let's move on. We'll come back to euro dollar then. We then have pound dollar, where I am actually expecting a stronger move once we go to the upside. So as soon as price reverses and it starts you know, pushing up, I will be expecting for pound dollar to be stronger than euro dollar. So if I'm actually going to be looking for long entries, I may do that on pound dollar instead of euro dollar. All right, but the same thing here as well. We have this low, we have this high, and we're pretty much trading in between those 2 points. So I definitely need to see some sort of confirmation. If I have to be honest, I mean, it would be much better for me personally in the way I trade to see price taking out this low and then giving me that reversal. This is going to be a good entry, right? This is what I'm essentially going to be looking for. But like I said, this is only the 15-minute time frame. We still have a few hours until till the news, so we don't want to rush into any trades. Then we have gold. Okay, so price did pull back to that previous low. What we see right now is a reaction at that previous low. Do we have a reversal? I mean, could say so, but the thing is, with the news, especially with gold, we can easily see price with a spike to the downside and then closing that 1 hour candle as a bullish one. So it's a very tricky one because you don't want to rush with your trades. You may have some setups, but you also have CPI news, which, especially if you're looking for setups on the lower time frames, during high impact news, even if price, kind of gives you the perfect trend or whatever, that trend could be ruined in a matter of a minute when we talk about the lower time frames. So keep that in mind. And then we also have the yen cross pairs, where I'm eventually expecting for price to actually reverse, maybe at least go back down and retest the previous lows right here. But we'll see whether this will happen. Right now we're bullish, and this is because we are also bullish on dollar yen, and that is another pair which I talked about for a potential downside continuation. But for now, the pullback that was supposed to be just a pullback does not stop. So right now the yen pairs are not really on my watch list. I mean, I have them on my watch list, but not as potential opportunities. So gotta give it a bit more time, and see how it goes. But yeah, it's mainly euro dollar, pound dollar, and gold. It's just because I was expecting the 61.8 here on euro dollar, and at the same time I was talking about the 38.2 here on pound dollar. So we do have the pullbacks, and the thing, especially here with pound dollar, is that we've actually managed to take out this support right here. And we are currently testing this previous high. It's a really good level for price to reverse. The only thing is that we don't want to rush with our entries, especially if you are entering a long trade right now with a stop loss just below this low. This is very risky. I mean, even if you are expecting for price to go bullish, you can see something like this, a spike to the downside, and then price can go bullish. So in this case, you're right, but it still managed to lose money, not make money. That's why I'm saying it's very important. Patience is very important. You gotta know when to enter, when to stay away from the market, and stuff like that. But hopefully those live sessions kind of help, because that was an issue that I had for a long time, not knowing when to kind of sit on my hands and wait for the market to do what it's gonna do. Because back in the days, I would probably enter this trade right now. Let's say I don't have a good entry confirmation here on the 4-hour time frame, I would then go to the 1-hour chart and I would say, okay, so we pushed down once again, managed to recover right here, and then we created a higher low. So I would now enter this trade with a stop loss down here. Now, I'm not saying that this is not going to work. It could work, obviously, especially since we are expecting for price to go back to the upside. But the thing is, I wouldn't, we're talking about back in the day, I wouldn't even know that we have high impact news coming up for that day. And yeah, now the worst thing that could happen is that during the news we see a bullish impulse. So let's say price is trading all the way up here or at this previous high, and I didn't manage to enter the trade. But this is absolutely fine. Right now I'm not worried about this at all, because if that happens, then all I gotta do is just wait for a pullback and then find another entry. Now in this case, yes, I'm not gonna enter at the beginning of the move, but I will have that confirmation, and this is gonna give me peace of mind. Therefore, it's gonna be much easier for me to hold that trade and to manage that trade. Whereas if I enter a long trade right now, let's say I enter a long trade right now, okay, I know there are news coming up, okay, but I enter anyways. So price goes in my favor, it then comes back to my entry, okay. I then go into a loss, then come back to break even, into a little bit of profit, now back at break even. So at this point, I wouldn't know what to do. I'm sure if you guys have traded for a while, even if it's a demo account, you have encountered situations like this and you kind of don't know what to do. But this is because you don't have a trading plan, and a trading plan doesn't have to be complex. A lot of people tend to complicate it, and it doesn't have to be. You could have like literally 3 or 4 steps that you can follow every single time before you enter a trade. All right, do I have a trend? Yes. Do I have a key level? Yes. Have price reacted to that key level? Yes. Has it given me the entry confirmation I'm looking for? Yes. Well, then execute the trade. Or if not, then you just have to wait. And something else that I could share as well, something that helped me a lot was um, when you look at the higher time frames, you can afford to look at more pairs. But when you look at the lower time frames, I would say do not trade more than 2 pairs, right? And we're talking about pairs that are not positively correlated. I mean, you don't want to trade euro dollar and pound dollar, right? I mean, you can trade pound dollar and pound yen if you want to, because that's a bit different. And then with time, when you become more confident, you can add more pairs, or you can add more ways to kind of analyze the market and look for entries and stuff like that. But it comes with time. I'm looking at this structure here on the lower time frame um, on euro dollar. The thing is, even if we break above this, yeah, that's right. Lower time frames are a bit more stressful. But again, it depends, because some people getting stressed out to let their trades run overnight or over the weekend. So it really depends on the person. But lower time frames do require full attention, definitely. If you don't have the time to follow the lower time frames, then just focus on the 1 hour, the 4 hour charts. This way you can only look at the chart like twice a day. Now the thing is, even if we break above this structure or even above those highs right here on euro dollar, I still do not want to enter a long trade right away, because an even better setup for me would be for price to come back for a retest of this area and then continue higher. But do not take this as a trading signal. As you can see, I'm not entering any trades. I'm just thinking out loud. And plus, if I have to be honest, I still feel like we can see that move to the downside just so more people can get tricked. We're gonna take out those stop loss orders, more pending orders are gonna load, and so we're most likely going to see the market reversing then. Not sure if that's gonna happen yet, but obviously we'll have to see. The good things about CPI is that we've got this news on Tuesday, so we're gonna have plenty of time by the end of the week to wait for the market to kind of settle after the news, and then look for um, you know for setups across the instruments, because sometimes you get the news of Thursday or Friday, and it's really not great, because normally when you have high impact news, you'll see the market kind of slowing down and being really calm, just waiting for the news, right? So if you've got high impact news and very important news on Thursday or Friday, that means that you may not even have any decent opportunities throughout the whole week. I can see we've got a gap here, but this is most likely because of the provider that I'm using here on TradingView. I'm not sure if that gap is real. Yeah, I'm just checking out another broker, and it seems that we actually have this gap. Okay, yeah, this is during the weekend. Really curious to see whether dollar yen is going to be able to reverse before the end of the week, because we're just about to take out those previous highs on the 4-hour time frame. So, well, we technically did, if I have to be honest. Um, so if we see that reversal now, that this is going to be okay, and this could also potentially provide us with opportunities to sell here on euro yen and pound yen as well. So this is something that I'm going to be looking for. But right now we need to focus on the majors, on euro dollar and pound dollar. Um, so I do like what I see on gold. As you can see, we've got this momentum candle to the upside. Because we were trading sideways for a while. It seems that we are now breaking above this, but like I said, yeah, the market usually rewards the patient ones. What do you guys trade? Do you currently have any trades? I assume you may be looking at other pairs as well, not just the majors. I think it was about a couple of weeks ago, um, where most of the trades that I took, manual trades, were on the lower time frames. But this week and maybe past week as well, as I think about it, um, I see more setups, or at least better setups, on the higher time frames instead. Yeah, the thing with the majors, with euro dollar and pound dollar especially, is that while we're trading within this range, there's really no point to look for any entries. So let's check out euro Aussie and pound Aussie. Yeah, the pound is holding stronger against the euro. Um, and so that's why we've got this downside continuation here on euro pound. I did mention this in the beginning of the session that we were expecting to see a bearish continuation even when, even before price broke below this support right here. So as soon as we break below, we then had a break and retest, and you know, pretty basic pattern, but it did work in this case. But this is exactly why I said, you know, in the beginning of the session, that if anyone is holding these short trades, well, you got to know that we are approaching lows right here. And it's not really a single horizontal level. It's basically an area, because you can see that we've been trading, you know, in between certain levels right here as well. So we've got resistance and we've also got support on that range. So this area is very, I mean, price is close to approaching this area. So if you are holding any short trades, make sure to, like I said, most definitely move your stops to break even, but also maybe even collect part of the profit you've made so far, just in case price gives you that reversal. I'm not expecting a sharp one since this is euro pound, but still. See, I'm giving you some extra pairs. I usually don't look at other pairs than euro dollar and pound dollar. Well, I normally look at the yen cross pairs, but since we don't have anything going on there, we might as well check out some other instruments. So let me know if you are looking at a potential setup on a pair that I didn't cover. Let me know, I can check it out for you. You know, and just because we have news today and we also have some setups pending, if price gives you that confirmation you're looking for, it doesn't mean that you have to kind of go over your risk. So if you normally open your trades with a half or a 1%, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, since everything is intact, you should risk twice as much. I mean, it could do if you want to, but just because everything looks perfect, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get a winning trade. Because like I said, I've expected to see, you know, maybe a spike in the opposite direction first. But it's only been half an hour since the beginning of the session, so we're not gonna rush with any decisions yet. So we've got this impulse right here, price breaking above this resistance, and then we've got another higher high, but a significantly smaller impulse in this case. So are we going to see a bit of a retracement here and maybe then another push to the upside? Or is this going to be a higher low and it will push price from current price levels? So if you have a look at the 30-minute candles, a bearish one on gold, I mean, we do have bullish candles on pound dollar, but I also see a lot of rejection here. Same thing on euro dollar as well. Guys, if this is your first time watching this stream, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm doing live sessions twice a week, every Tuesday and every Thursday. Um, and also check out the links in the description below this video. Join our free Telegram channel. This is very important. Like I said in the beginning of the session, you will always get notified by pretty much everything that we do. If we are running any promotions or anything like this, if I have a live session or whatever it may be, it always gets sent to the free Telegram first. And don't forget to check out our website trendlineforex.com. Even if you're a complete beginner, there's a ton of free information on there. We've got free courses. We've got a full course for beginner traders, which is completely free. And we've also got, you know, blog articles. Recently, we added a Forex dictionary as well. So if you're just starting out and if you're struggling to understand some of the terms used in the videos that you watch about trading, well, all of those terms are explained in our Forex dictionary on our website, trendlineforex.com. For now, it looks like we're rejecting that previous high here on the 15-minute time frame. We'll go on pound dollar. That could potentially mean that we may see price heading back towards the downside. By the way, all those setups are very suitable for running the volatility expert advisor on them right now, because you have some specific areas where you expect to see price, and this is exactly what we have here on euro dollar, for example, right? Not just on euro dollar, but on those next two pairs as well. But you have a zone, so you can turn on the volatility expert advisor and you can set it up to buy within those specific parameters. So let's say from a certain level right here down here to wherever your area is. So right now the expert advisor could start entering your long positions. Okay, as long as it's trading sideways, it will be generating profit. If it breaks out again, it's going to generate profit. If it goes to the downside, it will keep entering trades if you want it to, of course, because at some point when you have that reversal, all of those short trades that will be closed. Okay. Whereas if you are trading manually, you have to find the right moment to enter, and this is probably the hardest part. Obviously, managing the trade as well, because then it's more psychology. But even when we're talking about just technical analysis and being able to find a good entry, this is still difficult, because if you are trading manually, well then you're looking at the charts, there are news. So even if a setup occurs on the chart, you don't even know whether you should take that trade, because obviously you have high impact news coming up in a couple of hours time. So what do? You have to wait for the news to pass, or you accept the risk and you enter before the news. Now, if you wait for the news to pass, you may miss that entry. And if, let's say, for example, you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, that means you have to wait, another couple of days, maybe even more, for price to give you a reversal and to give you a setup for another entry, right? But if you are using the volatility expert advisor, it will keep entering trades, because you can also move the entry level as price moves up. And this way you can really maximize your profits. If you are interested, it's on our website. It's called the volatility trading system. Actually, let me open up the website. So right here, you go over to trendlineforex.com, and then you go up here to volatility trading. We have a full course completely for free, which teaches you how to use the volatility expert advisor, how it works, and how you can apply it with your strategy as well. There are some proven results right here, verified by my FX book. Some more of that as well. Our profile is public, so you can see all of that on our profile on my FX book. And yeah, definitely this is going to help you a lot, by the way, especially if you're struggling with, you may have an idea as to where the market wants to go, and you may have an idea of what kind of setups you're looking for, but then let's say managing your trade is a real issue. Well, with the expert advisor, this is now gone, because it works by itself pretty much. So you have to set it up. You give it you give it the levels. You type in the parameters of your trade, and the expert advisor will execute that trade automatically. Um, and again, depending on how aggressive you want to be, or whether you want to be a really conservative trader because you have a large capital and so on and so on, you can set it up to work the way you want it to. It's very customized. Not going to go into details. If you want to learn more, like I said, we have a full course which is completely for free. All you have to do is to sign up on our website. But I've also got a recording from a webinar I did. It's about a 50, maybe 45 to 50-minute long video, where again I'm explaining how the expert advisor works and how it can help in your trading. If you want to watch that, make sure to check out this YouTube channel. It's called the Volatility Trading System. Money Never Sleeps, I think it was the title of the video. Um, no, give it 30 to 40 minutes or 40 to 50 minutes, whatever, however long the video was. Um, just spend the time to have a look at the video, see how the expert advisor works, and if you decide to try it, let me know. In fact, my most recent videos on YouTube, not the live sessions, but the videos, are mostly about the expert advisor. Feel like this is one of those days where not much is going on during the London session, but we are going to have a lot more action during the US session. So even though I'm doing this stream during the London session, it's not because I am expecting to have more opportunities earlier in the day, but just because that's what I normally do. But definitely there's going to be more action during the US session later today. The only thing you have to do is, if you have any positions currently running, to decide whether you want to keep them open during the news. Do you want to move your stops to break even? Do you want to collect part of the profit? Um, this is up to you, and it's very individual for everyone, because it really depends on what are your goals. Do you trade live? What is your account size and stuff like that? Strong weekly time frame here on the dollar index, by the way. Took out this structure right here, and now we're moving back to the upside. I But like it's not going to be so easy for the dollar index to kind of recover all the losses from this downside move. So even if we are trading sideways, that could mean that we can see further push on euro dollar and pound dollar. So this is another confirmation for why I think the majors will be strong and bullish against the US dollar. So yeah, again, the most important thing is, where are we currently trading on the higher time frame? So what are the levels that could affect price action? And we definitely have this previous low right here on gold. So as you can see, we are already reacting to the structure. Now the thing is, overall, I am expecting a bullish continuation. Before that, though, within this area, we may see, a move to the downside first, and then price going uh, back above the lows, or we can also see that breakout right away. Okay, so if we have a rejection wick like this to the downside, and then we have a bullish close, candle close, well, then this is going to be a strong buy signal. Okay, however, if let's say we push down and we manage to close as a strong bearish candle instead, I am not going to be looking to take a buy trade immediately. I need to see another reversal, another confirmation later on throughout the week in order for me to be looking for buying opportunities. But let's see how it goes. And obviously, if we have a strong momentum, we didn't manage to get into a trade, we have a strong bullish momentum, price closes all the way up here, well, then we're just going to drop down to a lower time frame and just, wait for a pullback and a continuation. So this is the setup here on gold. When you look at pound dollar and euro dollar, it's very, very similar. The thing is, if I have to choose from euro dollar and pound dollar, since I am going to be looking to buy, and like I said, the pound will be performing better when it's bullish compared to euro dollar, well, then that probably means I'm going to be I'm going to try and find a setup here on pound dollar. Um, And then, I've also mentioned some other setups in the premium Telegram channel, including dollar yen, the yen cross pairs, euro Aussie and pound Aussie, where, we also have some potential opportunities. I'm not gonna, look at them right now, but it's because if I have to be honest, the best setups are still euro dollar, pound dollar, and gold. So I only want to give you the best. There's no point for me to um, kind of share more setups with you because I know very well that euro dollar and pound dollar are currently setting up for some moves, and hopefully those moves are going to be bullish, because that means we can try and take advantage of that. Otherwise, if price is about to continue to the downside, I'm not going to be looking to sell. I am expecting that a reversal will appear around current price levels. So there's no point for me to look for anything else but long positions. So, keep that in mind. If you want to, you can also mark out the levels on your chart. So the 61.8 level is 1.1053, if I have to be more specific, but 1.1050, okay, roughly where price currently is. This is the area where um, I think we're going to see a strong reaction. We also have the 38.2 here for pound dollar, which I'm not even sure whether we will be able to push down, but 1.3070 is the 38.2 for pound dollar, okay? And the 61.8 for gold is 3,164. Best setup here would be if we actually manage to push all the way down, tap into this level, and then just leave a rejection wick right here. So we're talking about a candle like this, for example, okay? Either one of those, something like this, where we kind of pierce through that level just so the market can kind of confirm our analysis and our idea. And then if we have such a long rejection candle, a rejection wick, well then I will be expecting that we're most likely going to gather some momentum to the upside afterwards. So these are the signals that I'm kind of looking for. Um, I was looking at the 15-minute time frame earlier on gold, and I see this setup right here. So we've got a move to the upside. We break above previous structure. We then have a retracement. Then we have another move up. We have another retracement which takes out the structure from the previous one. And then we immediately have a reversal. Now we're breaking above all that structure. Okay, and price is currently trading up around 3,258. So this setup right here, what I just explained, is what I'm essentially looking for across, just multiple pairs and on multiple time frames. But I would suggest if you are still struggling with consistent results, then just pick a couple of pairs, decide whether you're going to trade the higher time frames or the lower time frames, and do the same thing over and over again. So hopefully that helps, guys. I think I'm gonna end the session right here. Obviously, not much is going on. Um, all of the moves are gonna happen later today. Again, don't forget to check out our website, trendlineforex.com. Learn more about the volatility trading system. Like I said, we have a full course which is completely for free. All you have to do is to sign up on our website with your email. No credit or debit card required. And then you get access to not just one but three completely free courses: how to choose a forex broker, how to trade as a beginner, and also the volatility trading system course. And by the way, for those of you who are trading prop firms and you're trying to get funded, we also have an FTMO course which is also completely free of charge. I just remember that. So you not only get one but four free courses. So if you go through literally just those courses, I'm telling you, you're gonna have enough knowledge to build yourself a strategy and start using it, testing it live and on demo accounts as well. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description below this video, right? Keep an eye on those setups that I mentioned, and I will see you guys in the next live session, which is going to be on Thursday. All right, so Thursday is what, 15th? That's right, 15th of May. Thursday, same time, there's going to be another live session. We will then see how have those setups developed and whether we will have some trading opportunities then. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.